Hello and welcome to another episode of Tim's Take. On this episode here today, we're going to dive into what happened the last couple of weeks and figure out what we can do to improve the OMFL Lions and um, go forward. So let's recap. We started week 4 being 1-2 with a strong win against the division rival Bears, heartbreaking loss against the Ravens. And the first game of the year, we hung tough but lost to the 49ers. So week 4, we started off with the Vikings. And this was another division rival game, a game that was critical for both me and Nysonger to remain in the division race. And let's break down what happened. 278 yards of offense for the Lions, 219 for the Vikings, 127 rushing to 70 my rushing. That was a big story of the game. I could not get the running game going until the very end. The first couple of drives that we had were boring. It was a lot of 3 and outs, a lot of 1 first down, and then we had to punt. The game felt like it was moving in slow motion on the offense, and the defense was just so fast compared to the offense. We were able to open up the passing game with 208 yards of passing versus 92. 17 first downs versus 8 first downs, which is outstanding. Whenever you double up your opponent on first downs, you should set yourself up for success. Story of the game was obviously turnovers. Turnovers were 1 for the Lions and 3 for the Vikings, with a very critical interception right at the very end of the last drive of the game. Time of possession, another big factor, was 23 minutes and 6 seconds for the Lions and 12:54 for the Vikings. So we dominated that. We won the turnover game and 1 first downs. That's really, if you do all those 3 aspects, you're going to set yourself up for success in the OMFL. Individual stats. Fargas had one of his, I'm not going to say, he was consistent. He was 18 for 33, 54%, 227 yards, 1 pick. But for the most of the game, he didn't really kill us the game. He didn't win us the game either, but he didn't kill us. Derrick Henry led the way with 10 carries for 41. And Gibbs for 12 for 20. We cannot get Gibbs going this year. Aside from the one game against the Bears, his other games have been mediocre. So that's one thing we have to improve if we want to compete in the division. Passing, Laporte had 5 catches for 69. Watkins 4 catches for 54. St. Brown 4 catches for 52. J-Mo 4 catches for 44. So we spread the ball out. Which is the goal we want to do. No big yards. It was very hard to get offense. And the story of this game was, it was a back and forth game with only the turnovers being the big factor, where he was driving towards the end, down 20-17 with a chance to tie the game or go ahead. And J.J. McCarthy got hit, and as he hit, the balls went forward right into Agent Hutchinson's hands for a big interception that sealed the day. So, division rival, again, work buddy. This is the games that are going to go back and forth. I've been on the lucky end many times, so this one definitely you can chalk up to that end. So Lions win 20-17. That improves us to 2-2. Great for the division battle. We move on to week 5 against the Eagles. Eagles were also 2-2 at the time. So this was a very critical game. Twinkie will play you close. Twinkie, he doesn't get enough credit for what he does. He is brilliant in gameplay. The way you beat Twinkie is you have to control the ball and not make foolish mistakes and set yourself up to win, because he will pounce on them. And if you're making him dink and dunk all over the field, move the ball slow, he will eventually make a mistake, and that's when you need to capitalize. That's how you beat him. This game came out to another one of our classic chess matches. Right away, I knew he hasn't had much success passing with Hurts, and the goal was to stop Saquon Barkley and force him to pass the game when he needed to. 342 yards of offense compared to 297. 110 rushing yards to 172. He dominated the running game. Saquon was amazing as advertised. 232 yards passing to 125. 20 first downs for the Lions compared to 17. One turnover for Lions compared to 2. This is another game where the Lions did not have a lot of turnovers. We are not shooting ourselves in the foot like we were last season. And if you do that consistently, the only game that we really turned over the ball a lot was the first game, the 49ers. But that's D Money. He makes anybody look foolish. Time of possession, 21-46 for the Lions, 14-14 for the Eagles. Player stats. Outstanding game from Vargas. Vargas arrived in this game. 19 for 25, 76% completion, 250 yards, 4 touchdowns. You would think that is perfect enough, but he did make a very costly mistake at the end of the game that was a big factor in the game. It was a play where we had just got the ball from interception with a tie game. It was tied 24-24. And we were in field goal range. Late interception, field goal range. I believe it was third down and like 12. What you don't want to do is put yourself out of field goal range or have an absolutely disaster play. I went back to pass on a simple crossing route, and all my targets were covered. I had a crossing route, I had a curl, I had an angle even then, and all of them were covered. I was struggling to find, and as the pressure was getting down to me, it looked like it was a sack, and it turned out to be more than a sack. It turned out to be a fumble. The fumble was picked up by Bryce Hall on the defense, and he took a scoop and score and went ahead, 31-24. We fought and clawed our way back to tie the game. Unfortunately, we could not stop his offense. His offense set him up in field goal range. He kicked the field goal and sent everybody home. Barkley, like I said, 13 carries, 110 yards, 2 touchdowns. Barkley's Barkley. What are you going to do? Gibbs came out a little bit, 12 carries for 66. Henry, 12 for 45. Now, if I get the combo working like that, that's going to be amazing. That's going to really help us to solidify the running game. And that was the goal when I acquired Derrick Henry, was to be a more complementary back to Gibbs, more than Montgomery was. So, moving forward, I like that combination. Receiving, 7 catches for 108 for J-Mo. Laporta, 5 catches for 78. Unfortunately, in this game, St. Brown went down with an injury. He was 3 catches for 28 for a touchdown, but he left with an injury and he was out 5 weeks. So that's definitely going to be a factor moving forward for us, and definitely was a factor in our next game. That's called foreshadowing. So, moving on to the next game. Licking our wounds, 2-3. But we still have the game of the Vikings. Now, the problem when you play somebody directly, like, wait a minute, Tim, you just said you played the Vikings. Yeah, the schedule did not do us any favor. When you play somebody and then immediately within the next few weeks play them again, the deck is always stacked against you because it's hard to beat somebody twice like that, especially when they get a chance to see what you're all about in the division game, the first game of the year. And then they make adjustments, and then you have to anticipate their adjustments that they're going to make. And sometimes it works, a lot of times it doesn't. That was a big factor in this game. We got outgained on the yard, 373 for the Vikings to 318. We got outrushed 161 to 77. We slowed down his rushing game the first game, but this game he exploded with it. 241 passing yards to 212. First down, 17-17, even on first downs. Turnovers. Like I said, turnover is the story of the game. 2 turnovers by him, but 3 costly turnovers for the Lions. Time of possession, 18-14 to 17-46, so even. And this game came down to a few turnovers, and the final score is 31-17 Vikings. It was a lot closer than it seemed. This game, we were always behind the 8 ball. We went down 17-3 at halftime, and it looked bleak. But we clawed back and tried to come back. We were driving. We were on defense trying to stop him and get the ball back down 7. But unfortunately, he broke free on a run, scored the touchdown. We had no other choice but to let him score. So he went up 2 scores with a minute and change left, and we're just trying to score a touchdown, set up for an onside kick that gives us a chance to get the ball back and fight. We were always behind on this game and never quite got ahead. So my hat's off to him. Nightsonger played me tough, and I expect no less going forward. It's going to be a battle, me and him. Fargus, 17 for 26, 65 completion. Another high completion game by Fargus. 241 yards, 2 touchdowns, but 3 interceptions. Growing pains of the rookie. Sometimes the throws work, sometimes they don't. It's just one of those things. He's going to have games of brilliant, like against the Eagles, and other games where he's just a rookie, and it's obvious. We have to go through this. Well, this is the quarterback that's going to lead us this bad cycle through thick and thin. Rushing. We stopped Moorhead the first game, but this one, 12 carries for 110, 2 touchdowns. He was obviously a factor in this game. Gibbs, 8 carries for 49. Derrick Henry, 1 carry for 14. He had a 14-yard power run in the very beginning. I was trying to set the tone on how this game was going to go. Fortunately, Derrick Henry got hurt in that game, and we really weren't able to establish the running game from then on. David Montgomery came in to replace him. 10 carries for 15 yards. 4 catches for Jefferson for 143. He likes to go to Jefferson, and what can you really blame him with a star receiver like Jefferson? He's going to get his catches, and he's going to do what Jefferson does. Laporta, 5 catches for 75 and 2 touchdowns, but it should have been more. Laporta got hurt early on in the first half, came back in the third quarter. So really only half the game he had 575, but Laporta was on fire and was a thorn in his side, and if I had him the whole game, he would be up towards 10 catches for 150 and 160, and it might be a different story then. Watkins, 5 catches for 70. J-Mo, 4 catches for 54. He just made more plays than I did, and that's pretty much what happened. So, we're 2-4. Things aren't going the way we want to. Not all hope is lost, but we really start getting back into the win column and get this ship rolling. As the NFC North looks right now, the Green Bay Packers are sitting at 3-2, with the Vikings and the Lions both at 2-4, and the Bears are doing what the Bears do at 0-6, hanging up in the rear. Going forward on the schedule, we have a bye week coming up. We're going to need it with all the injuries we have. We have to start getting healthy, and we have to start getting some consistency offensively. We have to be able to move the ball. We're struggling moving the ball this cycle, and we have the pieces to move the ball successful. We just got to put it all together. So we got a bye week coming up, week 7. Week 8, we have a must-win game. This is a must against the Green Bay Packers in Green Bay. Green Bay, as like I said, was leading the division. It is his division right now to run away with. If Priest has turned the corner and shows the consistent offense, which he did have in the first half last year, that team will run away with this division. But as we know, Priest will do what Priest does every so often, and that's what I got to count on, is him to make foolish mistakes, get gunsling happy, and start throwing INTs all over the field. That is what needs to happen for our defense to set us in position to score. We got the Packers. After the Packers is week 9 against the Cincinnati Bengals. The Bengals are on Lil Koch is going to be a force to reckon with. This is not an easy game to play. Hopefully we're 3-4 and not 2-5, because if we're 2-5 and we lose this game and we go to 2-6, it might be time to start packing it in. I hope that we can compete in these next 2 games, because this is where we need to right that ship and turn the things around in order to be competitive and win the division this year. The division is here for the Lions to take. It really is. We have already played the Bears in the division game. We played the Vikings already. We've got the Packers 2 games against them. But we can win this division still. Things I see from the NFC North. And I focus on the NFC North because that's my division. That's what my focus is on. I don't like what the Bears are doing. I think the Bears are trying to set themselves up for a draft pick, that they're missing pieces on their team, and they realize that. And Colin every so often will run seasons like this where he just targets somebody all over the field. Tyrone Watts, we're about to be in week 7, has already got 56 catches for 1,012, 111 yards for 13 touchdowns. All he is doing is firing at Tyrone Watts, trying to boost him up so that he can run the next season with 2 receivers. This is what Colin does. This is why we got to take advantage and win the division here, while Colin is having a down year in Colin's standards. It is what it is. I had the chance last year to pack it in and really have a good draft position, but I said it's more necessary to be competitive and try to work on some things and improve my game, and we end up with 6-game winning streak towards the end. Somewhere along the line, we've lost a little bit of that. We need to recapture that. We need to get that back, because this division is mine for the taking right now. If I beat Priest this next game, the division is not out of reach. Even if I lose to him, it's not out of reach, but the road is much more difficult. He's got his usual quarterback, Rex Manning, playing good, and he's got a star running back that we need to figure out how to stop. There's a lot of good star rookie running backs right now in the league. We just played Moorhead twice from the Vikings. The kid in Weatherspoon and Saints is outstanding. Matthew Stark is right up there with he drafted 2 rookie offensive players that I was looking at in the Lions, because he drafted them right before me. Matthew Stark, the halfback, and the wide receiver, Chris Kaufman. He got those right before me on my pick, so I had to go a different direction. But, I mean, Priest had an outstanding draft, and he's reaping the benefits. We have to figure out a way to slow him down, because the offense is rolling right now. And we have to force him to be in a situation where he turns over the ball and we capitalize. That's what we need to do. And that's all I have. So until the next episode, everybody, peace out.